Hey, worship leader, welcome back to the channel. I have with me Matt McCoy with Loop Community. How you doing?
Hey, man. I'm doing good.
It's good to have you on here.
Yeah.
And I know you got your son there in the background. That's no problem. I got kids that may barge in. I texted my wife. I was like, hey, I am going online. We're recording a video, so they may barge in too. No big deal.
My son's just sitting here watching Daniel Tiger, so we'll see how long now.
Daniel Tiger, love it. Awesome. Well, I wanted to have you on because a few weeks ago, I got back from the Innovators conference and had a blast. Actually made a vlog about it if you guys didn't see it. And you're in the vlog there at the end. And anyways, man, had a blast. And so I just wanted to have you on here and you share. I mean, it's the first year, so I'm sure there's people that are subscribed to this channel that don't know about it, and it may be good for them to go next year. So tell us a little bit about your heart about Innovators Conference.
Yeah, the whole idea of Innovators Conference was, we go to a lot of worship conferences as Loop Community. And most of them, though, are all led by, they bring in a pastor or an artist to kind of lead the conference. And then there's an exhibitor hall where you've got all these companies who, have products or services that are helping worship leaders. And I'm like, it'd be cool if there was a conference where it was actually run by all of those companies who were creating products and services. So what we did is we kind of flipped the whole conference thing on its head, and that the main talks, the worship, the breakouts, everything was run by companies who had created some sort of product or service to make worship leaders' lives easier. And so it was just really unique. It was very practical. I didn't want the conference to be like a spiritual, hey, come here and get your burnout, come here and be refreshed. I actually wanted it to be more just practical. Come and learn practical things about leading worship.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it ended up being, which was awesome. And we had 550 people coming. Which was awesome. We were going to do it in person, but we had to shut it down because of COVID. So we went virtual one year, but I knew we'd come back and do it in person at some point. Yeah,
I was one of those people. I bought tickets and, I bought it, I think at the end of 2019, I was pumped to go. And then, COVID hit and all that. Well, it was a great time. It was very practical, which I love. But the first session was just so worshipful. Too, at the same
there was a spiritual element to it for sure. Just naturally, you get that many worship leaders together.
Exactly. And so those worship moments, the band was made up by a lot of these leaders as well, which just, it was really cool to not only hear them speak, and so many of them spoke so well. And there were some really creative, TED Talk kind of breakouts or not breakouts, main sessions that were done so well.
They talked for 10 minutes about some sort of topic that applied to everybody in the room. Yeah.
One of my favorites was hearing David with Sunday Sounds. He's just great at it. He's so creative. And then he did something with the crowd and made an ambient pad out of that.
That was cool.
Sampled our voices and stuff. So that was really great. But very practical, but also just being able to see those leaders do so well in their area, but then lead us in worship was just so great. So
what's cool is that all these people who have started these products or services, so we had companies like Planning Center, Praise Charts, Sunday Sounds, Worship Tutorials. What's cool is that all of them are involved in church somewhere, in somehow, whether it's a church of 100 people or a church of 500 people.
Yeah, that was the most interesting thing. I forgot the first name, but the guy from Worship Artistry, what's his name again?
Jason Houtsma.
Jason, yes. His talk was so good, and he was even saying, I think he's a part of a smaller church, and you just for some reason you expect when they put out such good stuff and they're well known that they might be a part of these big churches as if that's got anything to do with it. But just to see them and you yourself serving in a church every weekend.
Small church. I lead worship at a church of 100 people. Meets in a community center. We set up every week.
Wow.
And what we realized is that, worship leaders for the most part are wearing a lot of different hats. They're doing a lot of stuff. They're not just leading the band. They're making the charts and putting the tracks together and getting the lyrics up on the screen. And all sorts of stuff too, even beyond music.
Yeah. So, the conference was great, and we're going to have it again. So you're going to have it again. When is it? Do you have
We are doing it again, October 2 and 3 in Chicago next year. So we haven't opened up tickets yet for it.
Okay.
But tickets are going to be going on sale hopefully soon. hopefully in January, I think we're going to get the tickets up.
Okay, awesome.
So, but it's going to be October 2 and 3. Right now, you should go to worshipinnovators.com, though, and put in your email address if you want to be notified for when tickets do go on sale.
That's great. It's a great idea. You won't regret it, I think. And then Chicago, I'd never been. It was amazing. But let's move on from Innovators Conference to Loop Community. You founded Loop Community, you said 12 years ago or something?
It was 12 years ago, yeah.
Wow, that's awesome, man. So for those of you who might not know who Loop Community is, just give us what is it? Like, how did it come to be?
Loop Community is a website where you can go and upload tracks for worship songs that, let's just say you create a track for a worship song, you can go there and upload it and sell those tracks on the website. And we take care of all the licensing for you. So it's when I first started it, there weren't places where you could go and download the tracks or multi-track for a song.
Okay.
And so worship leaders were creating their own tracks. Yep. I was making my own tracks. And I remember I was making a track for Mighty to Save.
Wow.
And I'm like, there's got to be some other worship leader who's made a track for Mighty to Save.
Yeah.
And so I was like, there should be a website where you can go and like upload tracks that you create and sell them and share them with other worship leaders.
Yeah.
And that's where I started Loop Community, because I'm like, let's just create a website where it's legal, where the publishers and the songwriters are all getting paid for for their portion of the song. So that was kind of the whole concept of it and where that came from.
Yeah.
And since then, we've gotten into hardware, we've gotten into software to make it easy for worship leaders to run tracks.
Yeah, I use it all the time. I use Loop Community, and you have like different tabs, if I remember right. You have like community ones, but then don't you have like premium tracks too, like or by the artist maybe or something like that?
Yeah, so we have premium tracks, which are like tracks that we create for artist songs. But then we also have the community tracks, which I just said, as far as like these are like if you made a track for like, you know, Reckless Love, you could upload it to the website, and every time it sells, you make money, which is cool. It's another way to make some extra money. But we also sell master tracks, which are the original tracks from the album. So if you want Phil Wickham's original tracks, you can get those.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We have over 25,000 tracks. I think it's the last time I checked. Wow. Literally 25,000 songs are on our site. And we just really are about making it easy to run tracks, because for a long time it was pretty complicated and complex. So we have like a very simple app that you can run on your phone or your iPad. Okay. And we have a foot controller. I have one back there. Actually, I don't know if you can see it. It's all blurry, but like a foot controller that you can just control your tracks.
Yeah, it's the Looptimus, right?
Yeah, the Looptimus. Just anything that we can do to make running tracks simple. So an easy app, you know, it's a free app, and all you do is you just buy the songs for the to use inside of the app.
Right. Wow. Man, that's great. So it's just been cool to see. Man, it's been 12 years. How it's growing. What's next? If you're allowed to say, I don't know. Are you just continuing putting out great content, or you have anything else that you're working on?
We've got some. So we are right now in the middle of rebuilding our app from scratch.
Okay.
Our app we launched in 2012. It was either 2012 or 2013. It was the very first app out there for running tracks from a mobile device. Everyone at that point was like running their tracks from Ableton Live, something like that.
Yep.
But there were no apps available for running it from an iPad or an iPhone. So we launched Prime a long time ago. It's like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it needs, because the code base is so old, we just needed to like rewrite it from scratch, just start over. So right now we're in the middle of rewriting the entire app from scratch, like a whole new generation of the app. It's going to be like a million times better. The current app works great, perfectly as you want. But what we realized is that if we want to keep adding more features, it's better just to start just right from scratch instead of like keep adding on to this like app that we've been building for so long. Right. So some of the new features though we're working on, I'll tell you these. We are we're partnering with a chord chart app called Music Stand that will let you, as you're going through the song, your chord chart will automatically update with the songs and the arrangement too. So if you change the arrangement of the song and move the chorus to the beginning, the chord chart's also going to update.
No way.
So it's like a dynamic chord chart. We're also going to be doing audio routing, buses for like making it really easy to send audio to audio interfaces and groupings. With a bunch of new MIDI features in the app. We also are adding a pad player. That's been a popular demanded feature recently. Of like, how do I just play like a drone pad inside of the app? You can do that with using the pad mode on the Looptimus. So really what I would say is what's next is the next generation of Prime and all the new features that come along with that.
Man, That sounds exciting. That's very exciting.
We have other things going, but that's like, I think that's the thing that's the most exciting for worship leaders who've been using us.
Yeah. Well, awesome, man.
So,
that sounds good. Well, if you guys don't know, head to loopcommunity.com, check it out. Where else can we follow? You're on YouTube?
Yeah,
or
social Loop Community on YouTube. We've got tons of videos on YouTube to go check those out.
Yeah.
I've got a podcast that I do every week.
Okay.
If you
What's
just
it
search
called?
Loop Community, you'll find it.
Yeah.
The Loop
Awesome.
Podcast. So, yeah, man, I'm so glad that you came to Worship Innovators. I think that was so cool to meet you there.
Yeah, man, it was good to meet you too.
We heard a lot of good. So we actually ran a survey at the end of the conference. Mm-hmm. We had about 100 people submit the survey back, and our score was a 9.6 out of 10. 10 being like really really good.
Right. Yeah.
And the thing that most people said about the conference was that they just liked how it felt like normal people. Like, sometimes people leave worship conferences actually feeling almost defeated in a way. Not defeated, for lack of a better word, defeated, but almost like, how are we ever going to do that at our church? Like, it's so amazing that you're just like, how am I possibly ever going to do this at my church of 100 people who meets in like this school auditorium?
Yeah.
Or how am I ever going to do this and convince my pastor to spend this money? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And the thing about Worship Innovators conference was that it was pretty like, it was just normal people. Like, there were no rock stars there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Getting here, you lead worship. Aaron from Planning Center.
Yeah.
Ryan Dahl. It was just great to see, like you said, just regular people but we use their stuff like praise charts and Sunday keys and all stuff. It's
people
really,
left
really cool.
feeling like, I can do this.
Yeah,
I can do this. Like, they felt encouraged, and that's what we saw most in the feedback.
Yeah,
that's exactly what we were going for. We just wanted like practical training to equip worship leaders to like go do what you do at your church.
Yeah,
because churches are there's a lot of like hard things that churches are facing right now. With lack of volunteers and budgets are getting. I'm hearing over and over and over that budgets are getting cut because giving is down. Yeah.
It's happening everywhere.
So anyways, we're really excited about this next year's conference, and I hope everybody can join us at it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate everything you do for the conference, putting that on. And I know, it was stressful at the beginning, wondering, like, is anybody going to come? And now that we kind of, you have one under your belt, it's now, to me, it's just more exciting. And then for all you do at Loop Community as well. So, man, I appreciate you doing all that. Appreciate you coming on the channel and sharing it with us.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, guys, if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that. Like this video, because why not? All
Hit the button.
stuff. Yeah, that's right. And we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah,
Bye.
good to see you guys. Bye.